All right, guys, thank you very much for being here again this afternoon. It is wonderful to see you. We've got people here with us live on Zoom, and we've got people following in the Sovereign Way. Every Monday at 2 o'clock, we do a free mini teaching in the Sovereign Way. We bring spiritual teachings for ascending masters. So if you are spiritually mature and you love the experience of diving deeper into the magic and mystery and marvel of life, then our job is to provide you with the frameworks that allow you to unravel the links between consciousness, energy, and form. So you have a really safe and secure, but also powerfully revolutionary experience along the way. Here come our final guests. Guys, today I'm super excited because I'm going to be reading to you from our book today, from Truth Expansion, which comes out shortly. And I am so freaking excited to be going to LA this week to promote the book with our publisher. And I suppose this in some ways is my own personal preparation for this momentous occasion of bringing something so cool into the world. So as you can tell, I'm excited about Truth Expansion. Today, I'm going to read you a little bit from the book before I tell you about our focus for the next few weeks in the Oasis. Hi, Eleanor. It's good to see you, darling. Whether you've been following the sovereign teachings for a while or not, you might be completely new to this way of interpreting life. Or you might be a veteran. You might have been with us for years and years and become very fluent at interpreting and reading the world in this way. Wherever it is, whatever it is for you, this book, Truth Expansion, is going to really excite you because we've taken our expertise in vibrational ontology. That's the study of emerging life. And we've taken our expertise in this particular field of philosophy and we've combined it with our art of exquisite storytelling. And with those two superpowers, we've crafted for you a reading experience that's unlike any other. One that will reveal layers of truth and magic that you had no idea were even waiting for you. And the really cool thing is that it doesn't actually come from any of the information we provide in the book. It isn't coming from any sort of data that you need to pick up or anything, any pieces of the puzzle that are missing that we're going to provide for you. Not at all. What makes the Sovereign Way, the entire framework, so valuable, and this book, Truth Expansion, so magical, is that the words that we craft for you are magnificent in their own right, but they only form the container. They form the container that as you read the book, your own consciousness fills that container like a wellspring. Now, in this book, in Truth Expansion, you'll discover the truth that is expanding through you, whether you like it or not. And wherever you are in the journey, whether you believe you're unworthy or whether you believe you're a master, revelation always reveals. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. So that means that with this book, with a book that forms a container of consciousness that reveals, it means that your path home is not only plotted clearly onto the map, but your safety on the way is assured. Think of that. It means your soul cannot get lost ever again. It means your return home is guaranteed. That's Christ. So what is the Truth Expansion? It is fairly simple to explain. The Truth Expansion is a spiritual phenomenon that's going on right now. Now, historically, it was called the apocalypse, which means revelation. And it's characterized by the vibrational enhancement and magnification of all energies, the good ones and those that make us suffer. But most of all, this era is characterized by the dissolving of structure, whether structured micro ideas or whopping great institutions. Structure is being alchemized, which means it's becoming other. So that means that the holograms that we've been entertaining for so long are sort of flickering a little and morphing as history is shifting into a new direction. And that means that nothing will, as always, ever be quite the same. Isn't that a paradox? And now that you know more than ever before how little you do know, there's so much space for new knowledge to form, for new knowing to form. Now, add to that the fact that this is collectively going on and that this is vibrationally being facilitated by a providential hand way beyond our control, which, by the way, also means you can't screw it up. It means it's sort of taken care of, so stop worrying about it. But the stratospheric magnitude of direction and directive that is being understood by the human soul in this vortex of upheaval that we're going through means that old teachings, old structures are becoming completely irrelevant because the proximity to truth has shifted. That's the alchemy of structure going on. So that means that currently we have the opportunity to make incredible progress in a very short amount of time. In fact, time collapses then, in other words, because we bypass so much of the structure of linearity by the nature of grace. So new teachings that are graspable, new truths that are graspable by the human mind, by the collective human space, are really close, really, really close to pure Christ. Do you understand that? It's a big concept to sort of try to ingest and allow to be true. It means that, in other words, the truth expansion that is occurring through you is not for the faint of heart at all, because the egoic structure that has formed to lovingly hold you in the perfection of your place in the machinery is also dissolving. In other words, a reinvention of who you are is occurring. And either you participate with that, holding grace and sovereign poise throughout the process, or you resist it. And that is what causes the suffering. But thankfully, you are entirely supported every step of the way. And things are, on a macro level, going completely according to plan. The apocalypse is not an annihilation. It is only your understanding of things that dissolve. Those are the structures that are alchemizing, becoming new. That's where we come in. Now, you're highly intelligent, you're acutely aware, and you're mature in your understanding of life. So you know very well that it is imperative that you don't go ahead and start building your future on the fragments of a delusional past. You completely understand that. You're very much done with the old. You're done with the old pledges. You're done with the old covenants. You're done with the old stories. You're done with all of the old structures and lies that you built your life on. You're done with all of that. And you are longing, yearning, calling for the promise of liberation and an eternity of love that is ingrained in your very being. Now, the accumulation of more knowledge on top of knowledge, which some of us think that wisdom is linear, that we have to gather the knowledge, but the accumulation of knowledge on top of knowledge is only part of the facilitation of the process. It's only really there for the intellect to serve as a framework for that little part of us, that little compartment of who we've made ourselves be. You've been doing that for long enough. You've been collecting information to try and help you figure out the truth for long enough. You have enough archives of stuff in your brain. The truth expansion is different. The truth expansion does not rely on you accurately categorizing all of the information that you've gathered in your really beautiful and noble life, seeking the truth. But I have to be honest with you, even if you're very much accomplished in your mastery by now, you are definitely still compartmentalized in some way, in some illusion, because our minds will always be compartmentalized. That's a part of the experience of being a human, of having many realms to live through, having many cups to fill, having many hats to wear. And that's why we cannot trust the mind. We cannot trust mentalization to tell us the truth. We cannot trust our own comprehension, our own way of seeing or thinking or interpreting to bring us to the truth. That's liberating, isn't it? That means you can put down all of that work, reading the next book and doing the next course and memorizing the next yoga pose. The mind can only treat what it already knows. That's the limitation of the mind. But there is a way that we can all be free to call in new knowing that isn't compartmentalized, that hasn't come from one of the many strands of the tapestry of life. A sort of new knowing that remains unfazed by all of the experiences that come to form. A sort of a knowing that is innate and not just deep and dark and hidden somewhere in my memory of what was true, not just faith the size of a mustard seed. I'm talking embodied knowing of truth. I'm talking lived truth. Even now, as you contemplate that, as you contemplate being incarnate as truth, you can already feel the fragility of those old inner structures as that expansion is pulsating through you right here and now. And you know that you're ready to make the sacrifice of surrender. Your human expansion process with us starts with a new, invigorating take on the human consciousness, unwrapping the meta view of your life's journey so far and helping you discern and know and embody and radiate the truth before unraveling from that tapestry altogether. So for the next few weeks in the Oasis, which by the way is our incubator / coaching program for sovereign mastery. And our focus for the next few weeks is going to be spotting and dissolving obstructions. Structures are alchemizing in the truth expansion. From micro idea to macro institution, structures are alchemizing. So we are going to teach you how to spot hidden structures, veiled obstructions that exist outside the field of what you know you know. We're going to help you spot them and dissolve them. Because you see, when we're not in poise, and for most of us, this is most of the time, when we're living thoroughly in the story, and we're in the stands of our life and we're describing and narrating and we're believing that what we're seeing out there is the truth, and we've mentalized what's possible for humanity and for ourselves. We're not in poise. We've entered our minds, which means that there are glitches everywhere in the compartmentalized perspective. Yes? These glitches or obstructions or structures prevent us from transcending the glass ceiling between the realm of consciousness that we're occupying and the one that we're seeking to embody as the new default. You understand that? So truth expansion is about the dissolving of the obstructions in order for your container of consciousness to expand so that you become other. So that the very structure that you are, your container of consciousness, becomes other. And you see total transformation, total renewal. So in the Oasis over the next few weeks, we're going to bring your attention to some of the core blocks that people have in seeing their own blocks, those obstructions, those structures that are outside of your field of knowing what you know. And no matter how accomplished or how masterful we become, there are always structures outside of the realms of what we know, because there are always compartmentalized fragments of life, as long as we're a human, that is. So what we've done is we've bundled this immersion, we've bundled the teachings for the next few weeks. We've bundled this as an immersion in a beautiful experience that we've called the Veiled Obstructions. And this is a lovely teaching series for the Ascending Master to take us deeper into magnetism and truth by developing the craft of dissolving obstructions before they've even come to pass. You see, that's the end result of this immersion. We're going to be examining 8 obstructions that are relevant to us all. And by the way, these 8 obstructions are also outlined in the book, Truth Expansion. But get yourself into the Oasis and be a part of the live container that's going through this metamorphosis right now as we speak. We're going to be examining 8 obstructions that are relevant to all of us. And in that immersion, you'll also strengthen your ability to identify and dissolve all such vibrational limitations throughout life. So the immersion is for these 8 obstructions, but the consequence of you doing this immersion is that all obstructions will be easily identified and dissolved for you throughout life. So this is an incredible opportunity, because the truth expansion is occurring whether you want it to or not. This is happening for you right now. And you know that you can't live in anything other than truth anymore. You've already decided that you are not going to live in anything other than truth anymore. You've made this commitment to yourself. And by the end of this book, by the end of Truth Expansion, you will have a clear and streamlined way to connect those dots and release interpretation and illusion of story, because you will have a container that reveals. So this essentially takes away from you the burden of figuring out life forever. It will transition you into a place in consciousness where you're poised in peaceful recognition of love in the kingdom. Your true magic will be masterfully weaving itself through the fabric of your reality, affecting everyone and everything in it. And you will know beyond any doubt what is true forever. So, my loves, thank you for coming today. Thank you for receiving that introduction of this incredible new teaching series in the Oasis, and for receiving those luscious words from the book Truth Expansion, which is, oh, I'm so excited about it. Sylvia and I are really, really proud of this masterpiece. Please stay on and ask questions for those of you who are live on the Zoom, and for those of you who are following us on the Facebook Live. Get in touch with us, both to tell us you want to buy the book, Truth Expansion, and so that we can help you get into the Oasis and into these truth teachings. All right, I'm going to say goodbye to our people on live.